Hey there, I'm Seb Frey, the Realtor, and in this video it's going to be completely different. I'm going to talk about my passions and how that impacts how I do my work as a Realtor. If you're interested to know even a little bit about Seb Frey, who makes these videos every week, several times a week, for many years, then you're definitely going to want to watch this video. All right, well, listen, before I get into all that, of course, I want to thank you so much for clicking the link to watch this. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you do get to learn a little bit more about me. And at the end of this, do me a favor, mash that subscribe button right there and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget to click that little bell to make sure that you get a notification every time I put up a brand new, fun, and hopefully interesting video, kind of like this one. All right, this is Saturday morning, and it's an unusual video. I look a little unkempt, and that's because I just got off my Peloton. Actually, I'm still kind of out of breath, and today I did 90 minutes of Peloton. I did 60 minutes of just grinding it out, aerobic cardio, and then I did a 30-minute climb ride with Olivia Amato, and shout out to Olivia Amato. You slayed me again. And while I was doing my Peloton workout, I was thinking about a conversation I had earlier this week with somebody who's asking me what my passions are. And we talked about my passion for travel. I used to travel quite a bit. I've been to 53 countries. But I mostly traveled before I got married because, it's a lot easier when you don't have kids and school schedules. And, of course, my career is pretty busy. And also, it's a lot cheaper for one person to travel than for four people to travel. So we still do travel, but we travel less. And I'd like to travel more. But I can't really say it's really a current passion of mine because I don't really do it that much presently. And then I was thinking about the Peloton because, I mentioned that I now have a passion for my Peloton. I work out on my Peloton every day. Well, 6 days a week. I got a friend of mine who is a spin instructor. He said, you really need to have one day off. So I work on my Peloton for at least 1 hour every day, 6 days a week. And I'm sort of passionate about, getting, healthy or fit, actually. I want to get fit. I'm 52 years old, and I started on my Peloton. I started this regimen over a year ago, so I've been doing it very consistently for over a year now. And I am pretty passionate about that, but I'm not really sure what it really has to do with, real estate or traveling. I don't think that has much to do with real estate. But then I was thinking about something that I've been passionate about basically all my life, just about from when I was a kid. And I'm going way back to, I think it was, if I had to guess, I'm going to say 1981. And it's the best thing, I think, that my dad ever did for the family, which is he purchased an Apple II Plus computer. He was a writer, and he wanted to do word processing on it. And so he didn't use it all day, every day. And so my brother, and I, and my sister to some extent, although she was much younger, she would have been like, 7 or whatever at the time. So we use it a lot. I mean, we played games, and I got into writing basic programs, and we upgraded that Apple II Plus. We got like a Winchester hard drive, like a million years ago, a 5 megabyte hard drive, if you can believe that. And it was like $800, which was a fortune in like 1982 or whatever year it was that we bought that. So I was on the Apple II. We had like a bulletin board service. I mean, like we were pretty heavy into the, the geek thing, right? And then, and it wasn't cool to be a geek back then in the early 80s, I would say. And then I got my first Mac. I got my first Mac around 1985. It was a 512KE. If anybody out there knows what a Mac 512KE is, it was basically a Mac 128 that had been upgraded to 512K. And so that was like in 1985, or maybe it could have been 86 that I actually got the 512KE. Anyway, so, but that sort of like began like a long career of basically working with computers. I went to university, and then I got a job when I was in university working as a office manager for a local company where I was going to school. And he actually wanted me to develop a database, a database application. And it was using this product called 4D Cat You people out there ever heard of 4D? Yeah, give me a thumbs up for 4D. I was a 4D guy for like 10 years, 11, 12 years, something like that. And I traveled all around the world. Like this guy, I learned 4D, working on his system. Then I worked all over the world for many different companies in Silicon Valley, Alaska, Malaysia, Belgium, Bali. I mean, companies big and small. I was doing the high-tech consulting thing, and then I got out of the high-tech consulting thing. I mean, I got out of it around the .bomb era. I had been working at a startup company in Palo Alto, and we were making a software as a service accounting application, which is kind of like Oracle has one. NetLedger, I believe, is what Oracle's product is called, and so it was kind of like a NetLedger before NetLedger ever existed. I was really, really into the tech, and then I want to get out of tech, because when I was working at that startup company, I noticed that the people who were had what I thought of as the best jobs, they were all in sales and marketing. And I was like, hey, you know what? I think I would like to do sales and marketing. I might be good at sales. And I didn't really know much about marketing, but I did know something about sales, because when I was a kid, I was in the San Francisco Boys Chorus. And it's interesting because today I'm going to go to a gala of the San Francisco Boys Chorus up in San Francisco. I'm going to go see some guys I haven't seen in like 40 years. Exactly. I mean, I haven't seen these guys in 40 years. So it's going to be interesting to see them all after all these years. But anyway, I was the number one, number two raffle ticket sales guy out of 200 kids for 2 or 3 years. And so I felt, because I was so good at raffle ticket sales, that I would be pretty good at just regular old sales. And so I thought, I'll get into sales. And long story short, I got into real estate sales, actually. And really, I once I got into the real estate sales, I immediately started leveraging my tech background. Remember, I had a background in databases, and so I built up my my database very quickly. I started building my email list, and for the longest time, that's really the only kind of way I actually got business. I got internet leads, and I would put them into my database, and I would email them. And this was back in 2003, 4, 5, 6, right? This was really before the era of the iPhone, right, where everybody was on a desktop computer. I've had many websites, some of which I built myself. I built websites out of WordPress. I wrote a WordPress plugin. I had my own CRM, customer relationship management system, built in PHP, MySQL, and jQuery, basically. Ring a bell, anybody? jQuery, anybody? Anyway, so my point is that I've long been very, very passionate about technology. I've been super, super passionate about technology my whole life. You could say that I'm a geek. I really am an Apple fanboy, I have to say. I've always had Apple products. I have not owned every Apple product. I've not owned every single one of them, but I've owned probably more than my fair share of Apple products. And it's interesting because I am such a geek, you could say. I'm not really interested in modding stuff, really. I mean, a lot of people are oh, I want to hack my Android phone, or I want to hack my PC. None of that really excites me. What really actually interests me is sort of a higher level experience these days. I want my technology to basically do the work for me. I don't want to spend a lot of hours mucking around in the boot ROM or whatever. I mean, that's not me anymore. It would have been 30 years ago. but nowadays, today, I really like the technology for basically what it does for me, how it helps me help my clients better, right? For example, I mean, the smartphone obviously revolutionized everybody's life, and it allows me to stay in much better communication with not only my customers but my vendors, whoever, title companies. I mean, my broker. I mean, anybody. Everybody is very easily accessible. So information is much more readily accessible, and it's easier to communicate and have everything done much quicker. But it's very interesting because a lot of old time realtors will tell you that while there is a lot of more technology, realtors are actually less productive than they have ever been. And that's interesting to see. And what they mean when they say realtors are less productive than they've ever been, they mean that because the number of homes that every realtor sells has gone down like every year in a row for 40 years or whatever it is. I don't know what the actual number is, but the average realtor now in California sells like 3 houses a year or something like that. In like 1980, it was like 11 or something. I mean, I don't know the actual numbers, but that's probably not too far off. And I don't think the technology is to blame, although of course a lot of people are wasting time on Facebook and Candy Crush and all that stuff. There's definitely a lot of opportunity to misspend your time with the technology. I think that the reason for the lower productivity, quote unquote, is that there's much more competition. There's obviously a lot more realtors out there, and so it is tougher to come across every deal because there are, I mean, like you trip over a rock and you land in a puddle of realtors, right? Am I right? I think you know what I'm talking about. But nevertheless, the technology does in fact help me work better, work smarter. I mean, I can write offers, I can respond to offers, I can take calls, I can send text messages, I can share experiences and things I think that my viewers on YouTube or my clients or anybody who reads my email list, things I think that they might find interesting and might see some value in. And so I sort of look at the technology thing as a way of basically like, leveling up or like, augmenting what I can do. And in many respects, it does actually do that. The technology, and I'm really good with technology, right? As I hope you've just gathered, I've been doing this for a long time. I have a lot of experience with technology, and it really helps me in my business, helping my customers, right? I help get their exposure on their homes. When I'm selling their homes, I get that exposure to be much better. I'm able to really get a feel for like how the market is perceiving their listing when I'm selling it based on all the metrics which I know how to set up, I know how to interpret. And it really allows me to serve my clients much better. And I really feel that my grasp of technology is actually one of my competitive advantages compared to other realtors. I really think that it's something that does, in fact, differentiate me from 99.9% of realtors out there. And it is something that I am very passionate. And so it really does inform how I actually help my clients buy and sell real estate. So, I don't know, maybe you're a techie, maybe you're not, but even if you're not a techie, I bet you that you probably have a smartphone. Almost everybody does have a smartphone. Not everybody, but almost everybody has a smartphone. And if you are looking for a tech-savvy, passionate realtor who loves his Peloton and would travel more if he could, then you're looking at him right here, Seb Frey, and you can call me anytime. And I'm just going to tell you that my number is right here at the bottom of the screen. So give me a call or a text message anytime. And of course, if you want to be fun, you can find me. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and basically anywhere. You just search for Seb Frey, Sebfrey, and you'll find me in 1,000 different places online. I'm not hiding. All right, well, that's all I have for this video. And if by any chance you enjoyed this video, I'm guessing you might also enjoy some of these videos over here. These are some of the most popular videos here on my YouTube channel. So please do check those out. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it if you did. All right, that's all I got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, stay tuned.